Hello, it's time for another devotional. This one's going to be a little bit tougher, so I apologize in advance, but I think it's one that needs to be said and some toes need to be stepped on. You know, the Bible calls us to be separate from the world, that we are not supposed to be like the world. Yes, we're in the world, but we're not supposed to be of the world. However, in America today, there is no separation from church and the world. We look so much alike that people cannot tell the difference. Over the generations, it has gotten to where we have gotten so accustomed and there's been no persecution and we just got to do whatever we want and have freedom of religion that we have lost the fight. When our ancestors came to America, they fought for religious freedom. They fought for the right to be able to worship the way they wanted to worship. And now we have taken that for granted because we are given that freedom so easily. So when persecution does come, we run, we hide, we conform to what we are told we're supposed to conform to. We are supposed to be separated. When we have fellow Christians who are being persecuted and accused and charged of things that we know they didn't do, there are too many people who are running from them, who are letting them stand on their own and just casting them out saying, well, you know what, that's your problem. It's not. We are Christians. We're supposed to lift each other up. I want to go back to the story in the Old Testament of Moses when the Israelites are fighting. As long as Moses' hands were lifted in the air, they won the battle. But when his arms started to fall, they started to lose. So in order to win the battle, he had people come to hold his arms up, which means we are not in the fight alone. We are to have friends who are there with us to lift our arms up to help us fight the battle. So when you see your friends and your fellow Christians fighting a fight, that's when we're supposed to go lift their arms up. We're supposed to pray with them, be by their side. Too many times nowadays, we've got even church leaders backing away from people because there's something they've got hiding. Maybe there's some dirty laundry that they don't want aired, they don't want seen. So they keep saying, you know what, you're on your own. We're not going to stand with you. But that is not what we're called to do. We're called to lift each other up, and we're called to help each other out. Nowadays, we've got so many sin that is just brought into the church and accepted. We now have leadership in many churches across the United States that have people openly committing sins in their leadership. How can we do that? We are not supposed to do that. Now, we do accept sinners who come into the church. We bring them in. We want them to come in so that they can hear the word of God. They can hear how Jesus died and bled on the cross for them so that they can get saved and their lives are changed. We don't accept the sin. Bring the sinner in so that they can change and become saved. Then let God work on the sin and change them and mold them and create them and that they grow. Then as the sin goes away, we bring them into leadership. We don't openly say it is okay for you to sin and be in these positions. We as the church in America need to wake up and realize that we have just become so much like the world that it is now when people go to church, it is still, oh, look at the light show, look at this, look at that. You know, we have concerts just like the world does. Yes, that stuff's great. It's wonderful that people are listening to Christian music, and that they're coming in and they're hearing. But when we are so much, and it's so much of an entertainment rather than a life-changing experience, there's where the issue lies. Every time we go to church, we really need to take something back from there. We need to have our lives changed or have something heard to us that's going to make us think, to dig deeper into our word. When we're going just for entertainment, we're going for the wrong purposes and we're not living like we're supposed to be living. Yes, I know this is a tough message, but it's time that we stand up and we stand different than the world, that people can just look at us and see the fruits of the Spirit. And they can say, that person is different. That person's unique. That person has something that I want. But if they can't tell the difference, then why would they want Jesus? Why would they said, you're no different than I am. So why would I want what you have? Let's stand up. Let's be different. Let's stand for the word. Let's show our fruits of the spirits. And I know this is tough, but even Paul called down Peter when Peter had been hanging out with the Gentiles. And then when the Jews showed up, pushed him away, going, I no longer want to be associated with them. I'm only over here for the Jews. So even Paul called Peter down, even though Peter was a great man. So sometimes we have to be called down, even in different leaderships and different positions, going, hey, we need a little bit of correction here, and you don't need to be doing this. All right, guys, I do love you. Please like, share, follow. I do have my YouTube channel. I'll link that up in here as well. The only reason I do this is because I want to get these messages out to people so that they can have their lives changed. All right, love you guys.